name is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says, "Oh, hey, you're a mom? That's fabulous." But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why.
It's the Channelmom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
Now, you probably don't have the sound effect ready. I meant to have you do this, Chris, but I would love to have a round of applause for our next guest. Oh, look at Chris. Chris, you are the best, my dear. This woman really does deserve a round of applause. She is a personal attitude trainer for moms. I mean, literally, I can be depressed, discouraged, down and out, feeling sorry for myself, and she can pick me up. Karol Ladd is known as the positive lady, but not even in a way that makes you sick to your stomach. Like, oh my gosh, she's so positive, she makes me sick. She really is just really helpful and encouraging and doesn't make you feel bad if you're feeling down that day. She's just gifted with enthusiasm. She cheers you on, trying to help you to be all you can be as a woman. She's got some great books like Thrive, Don't Simply Survive, and Defuse, a mom's survival guide for more love, less anger, and The Power of a Positive Mom. Every mom out there should probably own this book. I really like it. Welcome, Karol.
Thank you, Jenny. It's great to hear your voice again.
Yes, you too. Did you have a happy Thanksgiving?
Absolutely. Yes. Lots of food, fun fellowship, and just enjoyable relaxation. Oh, I love it.
Yes.
What about you?
We did too. I have a husband who loves to cook, so I'm very blessed in that way that all I think I did was the sweet potatoes, and I made a flourless chocolate cake instead of a pumpkin pie. So he did everything else.
Ooh. Oh,
yes.
Sounds good.
Yes. How unlike you to be so enthusiastic, Karol.
I try, I know. I appreciate that wonderful, warm introduction, too.
Oh, well, I meant it. And I'll be honest, I do get the kind of blues this time of year with it doesn't really get gray in Colorado, but it does get cold, and I live up in the mountains where it really does get cold. And the overwhelming speed of everything, it makes you feel like it's all flying by. And as my kids are growing, I now have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old, it all seems like it's just slipping through my fingers, and there's so many expectations, and money is tight for everybody right now, so it doesn't feel sort of as fun and whimsical as it might normally. And I think, my goodness, if I'm struggling, there must be a ton of moms out there this time of year, you know, maybe going through divorces, having been divorced, maybe widowed, maybe having problems with their teenager, whatever it is, who think, I can't handle the pressure of the season on top of what I'm already going through. So what do you say to them when they just think, I can't even imagine how to be positive?
Oh, and it is difficult, and I think that it is important for us to recognize what's pulling us and what's making us grieve. It's important to grieve as well, and to say, oh, this is hard, and, you know, cry when we need to. Mm-hmm. We really need to do that. But we don't want to stay there. We want to recognize that there is life to enjoy. There are things to enjoy. Certainly, there are our kids to enjoy. And so we want to embrace that enjoyment and love that we have between our kids and in our life, and recognize the blessings in our life and move past those blues. Because you're right, Jenny, everybody feels blue at times, and we want to recognize it, grieve it, but then we want to move forward and enjoy life and embrace the blessings that we have.
Sure. You know, and I'm glad you said recognize that, because I think I'm somebody, when I look at you and I read your book and I look at how happy you seem all the time, I watch your videos, I think, oh my gosh, I should never cry. I should never complain. I should never feel bad about a situation. I should never feel blue. And I think what you're saying to every mom out there is, I give you permission to have a day or two of crying and feeling bad and admitting how you're feeling, but then move on. And how do you step into that moving on part?
You know, there's several important values and different ways that we can do that, but there's steps that every person can take. And one of them, I believe, is beginning with, as we look at this holiday season here, I love how the holiday season begins with Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And that, to me, is an essential core value, something that each of us can do, but it takes a deliberate effort. And so when we are feeling down, when we're feeling blue, or feeling like, oh, gee, what is good? Well, to deliberately look at what is good can help us move out of that funk. It's like that. It's the first step of moving toward enjoying the holidays. And so I really like to bank on Thanksgiving and say, let's really be intentional about thinking through our blessings. I know that just recently I was having kind of a blue morning. I was just kind of getting going, and I was going to speak somewhere, and I was just dragging. And I thought, I didn't spend time thanking the Lord this morning. And I usually make it a practice every morning to get my cup of coffee and stop and thank the Lord for at least 5 things. And so as I was driving to this speaking engagement on that blue morning, I began just thanking the Lord for all the good things, all the blessings in my life. And do you know, as I got out of my car, I thought, I literally had a smile on my face. I wasn't forcing it. It just was there, because I got out of my car and I thought, I am such a blessed woman.
Yeah.
I have so much to be thankful for. And I just thank the Lord for little things, as well as just the people in my life and the opportunity to go and do what He's given me to do.
Right.
And I soon realized there's so much to be thankful for.
Yeah, and I think it's a great exercise, even if we write it down and post it somewhere to remind ourselves of what we're thankful for. I made myself do it on Thanksgiving morning because I did wake up feeling blue for some reason that day, and I forced myself to say things over and over to God about what I was thankful for. I did it once in my car, Carol, for 45 minutes, and I was amazed. It was almost like I'd had, you know how you can get a facelift? It was almost like I'd had a heart lift or a spirit lift. I was a completely different woman by the time I got out of the car. I had just done a news story about a fire or something years ago when I was doing television. And you know, it wasn't a very happy story. Got in the car and made myself thank God out loud for all the things in my life that were good for the next 45 minutes, and it changed everything for me. But you don't even feel like it, right? Like, you need to tell moms that today. They don't have to feel like being thankful before they start to thank.
Right.
They just have to force them. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like an exercise. You know, we don't necessarily feel like, oh, boy, I'm going to go exercise. But we know that the benefits are going to be great. And we know we need to do it. Well, Thanksgiving is that exercise for our emotions. And it's one of those things. We may not feel like it, but go ahead and do it anyway. And as you do it, a happy and blessed feeling follows.
Sure,
kind of like exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've trained myself over the years to exercise even when I don't feel like it. And I almost always feel better. Even if I've got a cold or something, I almost always feel better after I exercise. Shelley, do you have a question for Carol today? Go ahead, stand up. There you go. Shelley was taking a rest. Go ahead, Shell.
Well, we had talked in the beginning about the overwhelmingness of the holiday. And how to just get around that, or just change your mindset on that.
About being overwhelmed. Okay.
Yes, you know, and I think that the holidays begin to hit, and we see all the holiday stuff, and our brains turn to mush because we see all that's going on. We think, oh, I got so much to do. I got to do it all. I got to get all the right gifts and make this the best Christmas ever.
Right, right.
So I think it's important for us to step back and prioritize and say, is this really necessary? What are the values? What are the things that I want to teach my family, teach myself, and teach my family this holiday season? And maybe top on that list needs to be contentment. That we don't need to have everything. We don't need to go out there and get and do, have every thing out there, but to be content and look at some of the values and the things that we really want to instill in our kids. But it takes time to sit back and maybe be still and prioritize what's important to me this holiday season, and what do I want to build into my kids this holiday season.
Sure. You know what else though, Carol? It takes guts. I just want to lay that out there. It takes guts because when our kids are little, we just want to give them everything. We just do. And Christmas is new for us all over again when our kids are little. So we think we want to take them sledding, and we want to take them caroling, and we want to buy them a billion gifts, and we want to buy them the best Christmas tree ever. And then you get to that point with, gosh, I've kind of made my child discontent if they don't get everything that they expect, and I think we've created a generation of discontent children, my kids included. I'm not condemning anybody out there. But we were just talking about this texting thing and the internet thing. Kids are so used to having sort of satisfaction, stimulation, entertainment on demand. But it takes guts to say, you know what? We're going to shut everything off. We're only going to do one gift this year. We're going to go bake a cake for a neighbor. I mean, most kids are going to groan when you first propose that to them. And you got to have guts about what you think the end result is going to be to teach your kids something that you truly want them to know when they leave the house. Don't you think? That takes guts.
It does take guts, and yet we want kids that do not grow up feeling entitled that they have to have everything they want and they've got to get it now. Instead, we want kids to grow up being kind, patient, and content as adults. And the way they learn that is by not getting everything they want all the time instantly.
Right.
And yes, it does. It takes strength, courage, perseverance. It takes wisdom as a mom to be able to look past all the stuff, the glitz, the advertisements, everything, and say, you know what, really, honestly, there's a lot of stuff out there, but we don't need it all. We let's be deliberate about what we need, and let's be thoughtful about it, because that's the other thing. We want them to be responsible and wise as they grow older, and they learn it from our wise, responsible example.
Sure, and that means that we have to deny ourselves, too, in a way, that we need to find value in things besides getting the best Christmas. I mean, I get all excited about candles this time of year, and I have to limit myself in my candles or whatever, the latest, greatest outfit, so that your kids can see that. I'm going to get to two more quick things because we only got about 2 minutes left, Carol. You say in Thrive, don't simply survive, that life, this is the pitch for the book, life is unpredictable and often doesn't turn out as we'd planned. The things that matter most to us, like marriages, children, careers, families, and friends, sometimes fall apart. And I want to acknowledge that today. Everybody thinks they need to be enthusiastic all the time if we're giving them this kind of advice. It sometimes falls apart, and it leaves us only with deflated dreams. How do we thrive in spite of that, Carol?
And that's an important thing to recognize, especially during the holidays, because we do face disappointments, especially during the holidays, because we want family to be so perfect.
Yeah.
And often there are hurts and pain and disappointment. So one of the things that I said earlier, I reiterate in that book, in fact, Thrive, is to go ahead and grieve. Make sure you do adequately grieve the hurt. And then you begin to move on. And one of the ways that you begin to deal with thriving and not simply surviving in a difficult situation is to recognize, okay, I know that it didn't turn out like I wanted it to, but what can I do? What is there that I am able to do? Let's just take finances, for instance. Right now, maybe the finances aren't there, and here you are facing holidays, and you want to buy nice things, and you're thinking, I'm so frustrated with what I can't do. Well, let's get our eyes off of what we can't do and begin looking at what we can do. And we can, like we talked earlier about, we can instill great values in our kids. We can instill strength in them. We can also instill some homegrown gifts and doing things a little bit differently. Maybe we're going to all cook together, or maybe we're going to make things together, or maybe we're all going to get one gift that we can all enjoy together.
Absolutely.
So you look at alternatives, look at things that could work, that will be different but better.
Right. Carol, I've got to let you go, but I thank you so much, and I also encourage people to check out your new book, Pursuing God in the Quiet Places, and I wish you a very blessed holiday. You're always a help to me and to Shelley, and I hope to all the other moms out there. So thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Jenny. God bless you.
God bless you too, dear.
Have a great holiday.
Okay, thank you, hon. Alrighty, you're listening to the Channel Mom Show, where we're celebrating you on Mile High Sports Radio, AM 1510, FM 93.7. Really love Carol Ladd. She's such a help. I'm not even going to do a Channel Mom tip for busy moms today because she gave us all our tips. We don't even need to get to it. I was going to do something from the Simple Mom blog, which I recommend. It's a nice little blog, the Simple Mom blog, and she talks all about being thankful, even when you don't feel like it. Making yourself say things out loud. So I would recommend that too, just like Carol does. It's really great exercise, don't you think, Shell?
Just your very breath. Just be thankful for your very breath.
Yeah, that's right. Like I just breathe. Absolutely, because some people can't, right? Or they're losing their breath. Absolutely. Great point. I'm very excited about what we're going to bring to you next week, guys. First, she's the author of romance novels with a twist. I just read one of them. She sneaks a spiritual lesson into each one of her books. Really love her. Susan May Warren next week. Plus a popular musical guest, Shell, who I know you know, who has just released a new Christmas album and has a great big heart for mothers. It's a beautiful thing. So tune in next week to see who that is. In the meantime, have a wonderful week, moms.